Joseph Sonnier, a respected doctor, is found murdered in his home in an upscale Lubbock neighborhood. And the first person homicide detective Zach Johnson wants to interview is Richelle Shetina, Sonnier's current girlfriend. He brings her in for questioning.
How would you describe your relationship with Dr. Sonnier?
He's the love of my life.
Meeting with Richelle that very first time, I don't know a lot about her. There were a couple of things that were mentioned by her that struck me as odd.
Richelle tells Detective Johnson that in the months leading up to the murder, she feels like someone was watching her, following her to the gym.
I'd gone in to work out, and I pulled into the parking lot, and there was this big, creepy-looking guy sitting there, and at the door, like he was looking for someone or watching someone.
She also thinks someone was hiding in Sonnier's backyard, spying on the couple one evening after dance class.
It's dark outside, and Joseph and I both saw a flash from the outside. We laughed and we kind of joked about, maybe somebody was following us.
Detective Johnson asks Richelle if she knows anyone who might have stalked the doctor or held a grudge against him.
Joseph would get these horrible text messages, calling him and, you're such a and whatever.
And Richelle has no shortage of theories about suspects. She rattles off a list of Sonnier's ex-girlfriends. She also remembers a letter she received from a mysterious woman named Tina.
And that she met Joseph on the internet, and that they had sex for money, basically. And he said, this is obviously someone trying to drive a wedge in between us.
Police are intrigued by the idea of a love rival, but instead of focusing on Sonnier's dating history, he asks Richelle about her past lovers. One name is on the tip of her tongue.
It's Dr. Thomas Michael Dixon. He's a plastic surgeon in Amarillo.
Dr. Mike Dixon.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Dixon. If you're considering plastic surgery...
Well known, he's divorced, wealthy, and used to date Richelle.
He had a med spa in Amarillo, and I went there to get Botox injections.
What attracted you to him?
He was funny, he was very witty, and he was enjoyable. It was, if it can be enjoyable to have somebody put needles in your face, I guess that's about as enjoyable as it could be.
Richelle and Dr. Dixon had dated for a year and a half before they broke up, and she started seeing Dr. Sonnier.
Did he know about your current relationship?
He knew that I was dating Joseph. He called him by name in a series of text messages, trying to get me to go out with him and to meet him for coffee.
Richelle says she rejected his advances, but he was persistent.
So he wanted you to see him on the side, basically?
He wanted me to come back to him. I told him no.
But is Dixon the kind of man to take no for an answer? Johnson wants to find out. So he drives 2 hours to Amarillo for a face-to-face conversation with Richelle's ex that the detective secretly records.
Dr. Dixon, I'm Detective Johnson with the Lubbock Police Department. We've got a case down in Lubbock, and I'm needing to talk to you about it. I told him it was Richelle's boyfriend. And his first thing was, oh, I don't know anything about him.
I don't know anything about him. I haven't talked to her in months and months.
And I was like, okay, well, that's a little odd because in our interview with Richelle, she told us that he knew about the relationship.
I'll be honest with you, I love that woman. I really did.
He was obsessed with Richelle. He was having a lot of problems getting over this breakup. He just couldn't seem to let her go.
For Detective Zach Johnson, alarm bells were sounding.
I really had fallen head over heels. In fact, made a lot of life changes for her.
He's very upfront about, yeah, I wanted her back.
Dixon recalls how their relationship ended when he failed to propose to Richelle on her birthday and instead gave her a subscription to a Tea of the Month club.
And she went ballistic and said, well, it didn't. I remember clearly, it's not a big rock. And I said, no, it's not. Like a wedding ring.
It wasn't about the fact that it was tea. Tea is lovely. I don't happen to drink it. He was not present in any emotionally supportive aspect of my world.
But despite Richelle's unhappiness with him, Dixon says they kept in contact after their breakup, exchanging texts, And he says they even planned a weekend getaway to a resort.
She was like, hey, you want to put this back together? And I was like, yeah, I did. And so let's plan a trip, blah, blah, blah. The next day, she's like, hey, sorry, I'm in love with my dance partner.
He still loves her. He's got a lot of feelings for her. But boom, she drops the hammer on him and says, oh, by the way, I'm in love with my dance partner.
Some would say, well, you're throwing it in his face a little bit.
Well, no, I wasn't throwing it in his face. There was, an ugliness from him to me.
Dixon seems like a likely suspect, but he has an alibi the night of Sonnier's murder, as do Richelle Shetina and those ex-girlfriends. Detective Johnson is stumped.
There's something not right here. This is a huge whodunit.
Until Johnson gets the call all detectives pray for. It's from a tipster who offers a new name that could crack the case.
His name's Dave Shepard, S-H-E-P-A-R-D.
But who is Dave Shepard?